Another day out here on the spiritual ranch. I'm Shesh, not knowing the way. The off-grid oracle, and I'm just one of us chosen ones out here doing our chosen things, right? And so that's cool. That's something that is its own blessing, right? The world today that's around us, I often talk about, the insanity that I witness, at least, maybe I'm the crazy one, but things do just seem just like they're not in the same sync like they used to be, and it's changed a lot here radically in the last 5 years. Like I really see that I see a lot of people slipping, just really do. And but it's like I was talking about, I did a little video last night here yesterday evening, just kind of showing the garden and everything. But I was talking about the ants and the scorpions, and the group think has really gone rampant. It's like really taken over, and so it's becoming such a norm to behave in ways that seem really, honestly, very abstract to me anymore, and the fact that people don't directly engage, it seems like, it's like there's a real lack of willingness to really engage in conversation, to make a connection, even if it's just brief, like just to show emotion or to show that you're actually that you're there, that you're present in that moment, and that you're not just trying to brush the individual off or just trying to get through whatever it is that you're doing. And I feel that there's become a real disconnect amongst individuals, amongst people, and so it'd be like, it's like the ants, but the ants aren't even working together. It's kind of like that, I guess, but I'm a scorpion, so I guess it's good that the ants ain't working together. Maybe they can't break me up in little pieces and take me down their hole and eat them, eat me, but like, it seems to me more anymore that as the ants become more disconnected from each other, that as a scorpion, it's like I'm invisible almost, It's almost like they don't see you. It's like my energetic footprint is the same as it always has been. I can feel that, but the energetic footprint of people around me is really changing, and that's what I'm talking about. It's like they're no longer like the ants, like the ants used to at least have that hive mind, and they were ambitious, and they were driven. They had spark, like maybe not light, but they had spark, Whereas today that spark is gone, and like I really wonder. I really feel that that's that the pharmacia is behind that, for sure. There's the illegal drug use, but really, I mean, I guess you could say it now because we got Make America Healthy Again or whatever, right? And so they're saying it, but yeah, that shot really was it really did a number on people. It really severed spiritual ties. I think it severed people's connection directly with their ancestors, and so now they're kind of empty vessels out here just bumbling around, is what it seems like. It's dangerous, it's scary. The reason too is like it may not even be a chemical experience that we're having go on here. I think, and at the time, when they pushed so heavily for that vaccine with the whole psyop that was COVID, they were determined to get that vaccine out and quick and in people's arms, right? The reason for that is because I think most of those shots may have even been saline, I don't know. They got doctors out here now that are saying that shit's doing crazy stuff to people, but that also could all be mental. I mean, like there's a lot that you could do with just persuasion, or with it's the same as like what do they call that when they give you the sugar pill, if they convince you of something, then like pseudo, right, or whatever. And so when they said, oh, you have to have this shot, that immediately, because of the way that they've pre-programmed us with their conditioning through these supposed prophets like Nostradamus, or like John the Baptist, or the other guy that had the vision of the Armageddon, or like even in the word of Christ, even in the word of the old prophets, the old saints, like even in all of them. I mean, like with Christ, Christ used the old prophets that he said they prophesied his coming, But if somebody's saying, oh, well, they prophesied my coming, it's supposed to happen like this, I'm supposed to write an ass with palm leaves or whatever, and then they do that, well, that's not a prophecy being fulfilled. That's a script being played out, And people really need to think about that. Like, we can't be like, oh, yeah, that's what they said was going to happen. Oh, wow, look what happened. That's how it happened. Well, that's a little bit stupid, That's a little bit naive, really. And for everybody to be backing these churches and all these groups, these organizations that roll like that, that run the program that way, we all need to wake up and realize that, hey, they're writing the script. And so with the shot, with the vaccine, they already know that they got us under mind control, because they've been telling us these stories about how the end of the world's supposed to come about, how God's going to come down here, what's going to happen when they destroy everything, right? And so they wrote that story. That's not a story of God's a creator. God's not a destroyer, Everything lives and dies, but that's not about, that's a cycle, that's cyclical. That's not about destruction, like the mentality of destruction where everything gets ended like that. That's man, because we fear death, because we fear eternity, And so they've been telling us for eons now that that's how the world's going to end. And so there's going to be this virus, and then the mark of the beast and all that shit, right? Like, that's what they try to tell you, man. And so they go play that script out, and then everybody's living in fear because they've been shoving this fear down your throats forever. And so everybody's like, oh shit, I love God, but I don't want to get sick and die. And oh my gosh, I'm going to get sick and die. Or I'm going to kill my grandma. All this guilt shit, right? All this fear-based shit, all this stuff that disconnects us from what is reality. And so they're like, well, gonna take a shot, And then they put out on the program out there, oh yeah, but it's probably the mark of the beast. Everybody's like, oh, this is it. This is the coming of Christ. This is the mark of the beast. This is what it is. And if you take that shot, you're doomed or whatever. And so that's in the back of everybody's heads, right? Because they all got you programmed and conditioned with fear. And so out of fear, a lot of people were like, they're like, well, it may be the mark, nobody knows, or it may be toxic, even if you're not a Christian, you're not into that kind of stuff, like you don't roll like that. Then they're still like, they're like, yeah, but we use experimental shot, and so you got to trust us to take it. So what they're doing is they're getting your faith, There could have been sugar in them needles, is all it could have been, But this is mind over matter. And so they get you to take the shot, and it could just be a sugar pill. It doesn't even have to be, like I said, it could be sugar water. It could be saline. And so you took a saline shot, but that shot of saline went straight to your brain. It went straight to your head, because you know that you were willing to compromise your faith in God, and you're willing to compromise your own self-knowing, your own intuition that's telling you, I don't need to take that shot. The flu going around here, all kinds of shit. Nobody's really dying around me. I don't know nobody who has died. I don't see people just dropping off all over the fucking place. What is this shit? This is crazy. I'm not going to compromise my faith in God no matter what. No matter what. Ain't no mark of the beast. There is no beast. The beast only exists for us to whoop its ass anyway. So, I'm rolling natural. I'll fucking drink my water, man. Drink my motherfucking water. I'm going to exercise, stay healthy, and eat good, and stay away from people, man. I haven't had a fucking sniffle in the last 6 years of my life, Longer than that. I don't even remember last time I had a sniffle, And so, but the reason why I don't have a sniffle is because I got faith in God. I roll with God. I don't fuck with any of this shit. I don't even believe in fucking diseases like that shit. I don't believe in it. And if it is, it's a thing that God created. It's supposed to be doing its job. That's just what it is, man. And God has control over everything. And I resurrect. I reincarnate always. And so what the fuck am I worried about? Why do I gotta take some stupid shot and fear some stupid thing that they say I should fear? That's them trying to separate my connection with God, and they could do that with a sugar shot. They could do that with a saline shot right in your arm, man, to go straight to your head. And then what happens is So now they got you totally under mind control because you don't even know what they put in you, but you're still trying to trust them. And so you got to roll with what they tell you, what their narrative is. And so they put this new jackass in office. And he's the one who rolled the shot out in the first place. He's trying to blame the other guy for being bad about, like having the bad shot. But it's like, well, you rolled it out, dude. So we're trying to pass the buck here, homie. And he don't want to admit he's wrong. But now they're telling you, oh, everybody's dying from cancer. And so what's your fucking brain do? Your brain steps into cancer mode. And it starts making cancer cells. The next thing you fucking know, you're on that slab and you're dead from cancer. And you ain't got no God to go to because you gave up your faith in God, man. And you started to believe in the tricks of the devil and you succumb to them, And so you got to think for yourself. That's how we win this battle. I've miraculously cured fucking multiple things out here this year. I've been under serious spiritual attack and they were trying to kill me. And I said my prayers to God, and it's all fucking gone away now. And it's crazy stuff. And I could go, and it's from head to toe. My toenails were falling off. I had egg size, like a goose egg size lump in my groin. I had all kinds of crazy intestinal shit going on here. My nose was rotten on the inside out, man. Everything on me was all fucked up. And I had faith in God. I said my prayers, I drank my fucking spring water, and I exercised, and I focused on the good things that God has to offer me, and they protected me, and they sent all that shit fucking packing, man. And so, don't trust this shit out here. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You need to trust God. Don't let them introduce fear-mongering into your existence that creates so much fear in yourself that you debate whether or not you should listen to them or to God. Never, ever debate that. Always give on to Caesar that which is Caesar's, but that which is God is always what's most important to you. Caesar can have whatever the fuck Caesar wants, that's Caesar's, but whatever is God's, and that's what you are, and so they can't touch you. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. Only way that they can touch you is if you buy into their fucking bullshit, and so don't. Stay strong. They're trying to start nuclear war right now. They say they're trying to start nuclear war right now. But you got to remember, we've all seen nuclear war played out on TV already because they can make that shit look real, and they can fucking broadcast that shit all over, and they can put it on the fucking internet. But unless you're fucking there and your skin's melting off your fucking ass, you do not know that they're having a nuclear war. Trust me. Use your fucking heads, people. We live in a world of false bullshit. God, Lord, Father God, please, man. Help us be strong in this world today. Help us avoid these conflicts that they're trying to get us in, and help us be wise enough to see through the bullshit that they're trying to feed us, You make us strong. You make us loud. You make us present in your creation, and in your existence, right? And you take and you forge us into weapons that you can use of mass destruction against this darkness that they're trying to spread on our world, And that's why you took me and you put me on your arm, and you took me to your wing, you took me to the shop, and you lit up your forge, man. You got that motherfucker hot, and then you put me in there and you melted me down like iron, until I was damn near molten. And then you pounded all the impurities out of me with your hammer, and then you sharpened me and you fastened me and you tempered me into a sword, man. You made my tongue a sword, and it's a sword of truth like Excalibur. And I stand in that truth with you, and I ask you to wield that sword, Lord God, because I ain't powerful enough to lift it even. But with you, I have the strength of a dragon. I have the strength of everything to change this world, man. You give me wings like an eagle so I can soar above everything like an angel and see it the way you see it. And then I can speak the truth for you, and you can speak the truth through me. And I appreciate the fuck out of that because that gives me purpose in my life. And that gives me true purpose in my life that I know for a fact, Lord God, will last me forever and ever and ever, man, because that's what you are. Amen, Amen, right? Amen, right? Y'all got that fire in you too, right? They can't burn your soul twice. When you're hotter than the fires of hell, then they gotta fucking back the fuck down or they're gonna get burned, man. And that's what we're doing out here. So I'm Shesh, not knowing the way. That's she who whispers loudly with the sharp tongue. That's my name. Spirit gave it to me, and it's what it is. And it defines me as who and what I am. And I'm the one that comes up here like author, and I can remove that stone of Excalibur from that stone, and that Excalibur is the sword of truth. And we speak that shit around here. There's nothing else, man. We don't give a fuck. We don't care. We don't care what the algorithm thinks. We don't care what YouTube thinks. We don't care what nobody thinks. We don't give a fuck. We say what God has to say, and we say it how it is, you know. And one set of ears can lead into two, you know, and that's 4 ears, you know. And if ain't way things work exponentially, you know, as you take 4 ears and you times it by 4 ears, you got 16, man. And that's what we're working on here, you know. And God will make that movement happen when it needs to happen. And we don't need a whole lot of ears, you know, honestly, because the ones of us that have the voice of God, the ones of us that got the wisdom of God in us, we're extremely powerful, you know. Excalibur can cut anything in half, right? And that's what we're doing out here. It takes a dragon to slay a dragon. And we're going to show that beast exactly what the fuck that is. We're going to fucking hand our asses to him, you know? And we are. That beast is going to be so fearful of the virus that we're going to spread that beast is going to step right in line. It's going to take that shot from us. That's going to give us mind control over that motherfucker. Then God's going to have the reins. And this fucking world's going to be different. It's going to be a different place, you know? And that's why they don't like my word getting out here, because I'm speaking the truth the way it needs to be spoken. And I ain't trying to fucking whitewash that shit. I ain't trying to fucking lie on that shit. I ain't trying to make that shit rosy. And I ain't trying to make that shit about money, because it ain't. It ain't. The only coins that matter out here is coins that land on my table, because they speak truth. It's currency that don't lie. Here it comes. You can do this all the time, man. I really just shit who's just only real truth, no truth, and get the truth. I pay dearly for the truth, you know. I got the charge through, you know. But that don't mean I'm gonna stop by you. Hell no. Let's give us a little message here. What we're gonna talk about this, Chris. We wanna talk about this, Chris. You wanna tell us, huh? What you gotta tell us here, Chris? You wanna tell us, huh? How you do this, Chris? Yeah, well, I miss spirit. Keep going on. I miss spirit. Come on, spirit. Let's try this again. 1, 2. Alright, spirit. Alright, spirit. Well then. I got that Coke ball out here again. Then we got, you know, because, you know, we got that seashell right there, tucked right up there up against the world on top of its head, right? Because emotionally right now, we got rough waters out here. These seas are churning the fuck up, you know. I don't know how much you all pay attention to your, current affairs, you know, but the things are trying to get explosive, you know. We got 50,000 troops in Russia going to the Ukrainian border, right? With North Korean troops, that's World War, folks. And then, of course, you know, Israel's ramping up all its stuff, blowing up everybody over there too, like, right, Lebanon stuff, and then. Somebody else was stirring some more shit, you know. I can't remember. I was trying to remember now, but you know, man. Oh yeah, somebody's going into Lithuania, you know, and it's like, why, you know, why we gotta be doing this shit, man? It's just stupid, you know. And then like with the Germans, so and Trump, you know, our fearless moron. He's out here trying to say that okay, we gotta start bombing Moscow and stuff because Putin's saying, hey, fucking back off, yo. Putin's just been saying back off the whole time, man. That guy, he could have done a lot more damage than what he has done, and they just won't let it rest, you know. I mean, he's a Libra, you know, and generally speaking, man, I always struggle with the Libras, but I think Putin's kind of like, I like Putin, man. I mean, I think that he deserves the respect that everybody should say, okay, cool, you just do Russia, man. And he would do that, you know. Why would they got fuck around with all this shit? They don't, you know. But he ain't gonna back down, and I respect that. I understand that. You know, his people back him, and they should, I think, in a lot of ways. You know, I understand he's also a political leader, and so he's definitely, you know, I don't know, man. Pontius Pilate wasn't the one that got nailed to the cross, you know, and Pontius Pilate wasn't the one also that was chosen by God neither, you know. I mean, we were all chosen by God, but he had a different job, right? And so Putin's no different. He's just another Pontius Pilate. But like these motherfuckers, man, they're really trying to warp reality. You know, God don't want this. God don't want this. And so like the state of affairs right now, emotionally, the whole world should be really, 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 really feeling like their seashells tipped on its head. Because the waters are coming up here, and war. I mean, war is emotional, man. It's a lot of things, but of course it's emotional. I mean, people are getting their emotions involved in things that I mean, I guess Putin's like trying to get back to the land that was Russia or whatever, but everybody needs to realize anyways, God didn't build this world with fences and borders like that. That's man, and that's not a righteous reason to be killing each other. There really is no righteous reason to be killing each other, not anything, because the only things that we do really kill each other over is the things that man cares about, or we kill each other because of man's foolishness and how they manage the garden, and so like we aren't resourceful, my favorite word, with the resources that God, Father God gives us, Spirit Most High, right? And so we deplete our resources, and then we feud over what's left, because we don't know how to manage ourselves with self-control. We don't have self-control, and that's why when we were told initially that we were not allowed to eat from the tree of knowledge in the garden, we couldn't resist that temptation, because we lack self-control, man. And so our lack of self-control is causing all this emotional turmoil and upheaval and just ugliness, and it's really creating a fucking three of swords situation, or three of swords situation, of everybody's 10 of cups, it's like destroying everything, man. And there's more than enough to go around. It's like even with Russia, honestly, like the Russians, there's fewer people on that land. That's a huge landmass. They got so much resource. Well, what the fuck they got to worry about? And same goes for us. So why we got to be over there poking our heads in that fucking mess? I mean, fuck, we got our neighbors to the north that we're trying. They got all kinds of land too. They got oil. We got Alaska. I mean, we got all kinds of shit, man. Like, lack mentality, It's that small thinking. It's that shit they got you convinced of, It's like they did with that fucking COVID campaign, man. They got you convinced that shot. You gotta have that shot or you're gonna die, right? So they got you convinced right now that we don't got enough, so we need more. They're gonna fuck with your oil prices. They're gonna do this. We're gonna do that, and that's what this Coca-Cola bottle is out here in the sun. These addictions that we have, these realities that we live in. Because see, this is a Coca-Cola bottle, man. It's like that 1950s mentality, right? Where everybody's like, oh yeah, Coca-Cola, smoke Lucky Strikes and all that fucking shit, right? Wonder Bread. But that stuff was all toxic, it killed all our grandparents, fucked up their heads, gave them Alzheimer's, gave them cancer, gave them all kinds of fucked up shit, But that was because their spirits were weak, And so they got spiritually attacked through what they consumed, because that's like parasites, And so the powers to be, because see, this here is a 1968 Liberty $50, and that's JFK on there, right? And so that guy right there, they killed him. And they killed him right around the same time that they made these coins go from being silver, 90% silver, to 100% jack shit, because that coin right there is printed on pot metal, like it's not really worth anything. It's the exact same coin, the identical coin to the one that was silver, except for it's not silver. And so this guy right here, they say he was a great leader. They say he was an awesome leader, but he was also plagued by all of that Coca-Cola shit, He liked sex, drugs, women, he wanted to live fast, and fucking he died hard, They shot him right in the head, right in front of everybody, made an example out of this guy, kind of like that Jesus fellow, right? And when they did that, in that same time period, they devalued our currency, so where our coin was worth jack shit, it was worth trash. It went from being worth silver to being trash, And they duped us. They duped the American people with that shit, and they went into this psyop, where they're trying to go now because they want to basically take down the borders, right? They want a global government. They want to take down all the borders, but they want to have the border, one border, and that border is between you and God. They want to own your soul, And by doing these mind control games where they feed you poison and then they sit you down in front of the TV and they assassinate somebody right in front of you, just like they did with Jesus Christ and just like they do all the time with everything. They're trying to play it up here with this little dumb Trump, but But fuck, he's too big of a chump anyways, you know? He's not even a good sacrifice. They pretend like they shot his ear off, you know? Fucking stupid, man. And everybody's still eating right out of the palms of their hands with this shit. Chugging down that Coca-Cola, sitting down in front of the Super Bowl, fucking acting stupid, you know? Not paying attention. Too busy trying to make the payments on their big house they can't afford, trying to make the payments on their big truck that they can't afford, trying to fucking keep up with the Joneses, trying to make those credit card payments, trying to go on vacation, trying to do all this stupid shit everybody's fucking doing, and all they grow in their yard is dandelions. They don't even got a garden, you know? That's stupid. And I ain't got nothing against dandelions, because dandelions ain't stupid at all. Dandelions are great, but not for your garden. You got to have a little bit more than dandelion in your garden. You know, the Garden of Eden had all things living on planet Earth in it. You know, think about that. You got to be diverse. You can't just be choking down these Cokes, you know, sucking down them Marlboros and fucking playing fake. You can get real, motherfucker. Even the clothes you're wearing to give you cancer, you know? And that's the truth, you know? Fucking for reals. That shit you put underneath your armpits every day because you think it makes you smell good, but it makes you stink. That shit is killing you. But that's this Coca-Cola bottle right here. Johnson & Johnson told you it makes you pretty, so you bought into it. Well, you're dumb. You know? They said that Coca-Cola makes you have a good time and that it makes you look sexy and attractive and it rots your fucking teeth out and makes you have diabetes and fat. How's that fucking sexy? How's that sexy to have your foot fucking cut off because you got diabetes and you gotta take a shot of insulin every fucking day that's killing you just as fucking bad? Makes you fucking piss fucking purple like Kool-Aid, you know? How the hell is that good for you? Fucking, how's that sexy? Because this is the water coin right here. It got a hole in it, you know? It's that water coin that represents the water to me. You know, I got another one like this, but it has a star in it and that's my pinnacle, but this is my coin that represents water, right? And so that means that we're all in our emotions on this shit. But the thing is that this water coin, it's way the fuck out here in the abyss. It's out in the darkness. It's in the void, you know, and it's far away from Earth because we're all lost in this shit. We're so overwhelmed by the emotional upheaval that's around us that's being created, this psyop, that we can't even get manifestations or controls over our own emotions, you know? And so we're lost out here in the void, in the dark, feeling hopeless, you know? And battled, you know? Because again, the only other coin that's on the table here is this old military brass button, right? And that's that old military brass button. But that tells me that maybe that's the valor of what we used to be and how we used to fucking think. That's like King David's valor, you know. That's like somebody who's a righteous warrior of God, but has been cast out from the masses and cast off from the earth and caught up in these upheavals of emotion and the ethereals, the waters of the ethereals, because the false governments now that are fraudulent and that are no longer worth the value that they said that they were worth, that are willing to sacrifice their own fucking leaders and their own good people just to make more money off of their industrial campaign and off of their bullshit, their marketing, and their merchandise, you know, then they've cast out that old ways of thinking. This is the old Thomas Jefferson, the old George Washington, the old libertarians, the old real people who are going to fight to maintain the acreage that they lived on. And anything that was outside of their gate, that wasn't their business, you know, that was for others to deal with. But if you come inside their gate and you try to fuck with their farm, you try to fuck with their people, you try to fuck with their shit inside that space that is theirs, then they're armed and they're intelligent and they're willing to fight to protect what they have. They know their freedom, you know? And that's what this is representing right now. Even though those were cutthroat bastards that this button came from, there was goodness that initially behind why this button was established as a U.S. military uniform, you know? Because, like, they didn't even have uniforms, they say, when they're crossing Delaware and stuff, you know? And they're eating their horses like that and shit, you know? And so we all came from them bloody roots, like, right? We all came from them bloody roots, man. We all came from them places, like, a lot of us, we all been poor for a long time. Eons and eons and eons we've been under this mind control shit. Even when the king was fucking manipulating motherfuckers and stuff. All the way back even when they had trees on Ireland, we were going through this shit. Trust me. Alright, Spirit's taking it easy on me today. We're going to do a little short read, I guess, because it is time to plant the garden, man. Boy, I've been going hard out there. I put that little video up, kind of showed. That's my canvas right now, you know. And so I got my canvas all like ready to go. Like when a painter, they paint that one coat, first coat on the canvas, whatever, you know. I kind of did that, but then I got like those other little areas laid out after them tarps and shit, kind of like if you think about it. Now I'm going to add the color, man. I'm going to put it in plants, you know. I got a lot of them. The damn mice, man, monitoring spirits, they came in there and they got my pepper plants pretty good. They hit me on the peppers. I still got some, though. I got some red bell peppers and stuff. A handful of some orange bell peppers, some San Marzanos. Those are good. I got like 3 mild jalapenos, so there'll be something there. I'll buy a couple just for making salsa or whatever. But next year, I didn't have a greenhouse this year, I did this without a greenhouse, and that's impressive. I got 1,000 or more tomato plants. I got a lot of tomato plants. So I'll go big on them. And then the melons, you plant them from seed, and so I got a bunch of melon seeds. Got a lot of melon seeds, so I'm going to go town on that. I got probably an ounce or something, a little more than an ounce. And so got some good varieties, some seed I saved. And so I'm going to get that space filled. I'm going to go big this year. I'm going big, man. I'm going to show this whole fucking world what the fuck we've been working towards, because nobody understands the format. When you want to work outside the PSYOP, and you want to fucking have self-mastery, you want to get away from all of this fake shit right here, man. Because it's fake. This is fake money that buys fake shit. That's what that is, And they're just trying to assassinate you. They're trying to separate you from God, man. They're trying to make it so you have no control of your emotions and your whole world's upside down. And the water is just washing everything good away. It's just destroying everything, man. Spirit got to stop right there, because that's that 2 of Cups, And that 2 of Cups, the 2 of Cups represents your divine union with God Most High, and that's the equal give and take, that you have in that union with Most High, because as you give to them, they give to you, They always, always, always give, and they always meet you there, But Most High is like the highest of the highest priests, the highest of the highest priestess, they are the one, like the one of the ones, right? And so they don't chase, they attract. And that's what you got to understand when you're trying to have a relationship with Most High. You got to see it from that 2 of Cups position, where neither of the individuals who are in that 2 of Hearts energy are chasing, they're both attracting, because they have a lot to share with each other. And that's the relationship that Most High is really seeking to share with us the most, because that's how we show them that we've learned, because then we know not to chase either. We're not chasing, but we're attracting, and Most High feels our energy. And so when they look down through the veil and they see all of our lights, our light shines brightest, because we are balanced inside ourselves, So it's like our temple is secured, and it's like a generator, It's like we got all our shit tuned up just right. All our wires are solid and cleaned up. Our connections are good. Everything's fucking humming right. Oil's changed and everything's good. And so when the Most High looks through that veil, they see our light shining bright, and then they bless us, And that's what this is. But the whole world is struggling, because this seashell, being in this position, that's the 2 of Cups, but in the reverse, And so that means that you're dumping your shit out, and then you're chasing that stream as it runs down the fucking hill, and you expect God to come chase it after you and make it better. And that's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. God says that you got to do the work, that you got to know how to attract, This is mallow. Mallow is, it's called cheeses. I don't know why it's called cheeses. That's kind of funny. But yeah, mallow's good though. Mallow's also a medicine. It's sweet too. I like putting mallow in my tea. And mallow's good for your lungs. I'm pretty sure. I think it's another one. I think it's good for your lungs. But that's why Spirit's saying on the bottom of the deck. It's like that 2 of Cups. It's always there, but you have to be it. You have to be it in order to attract it. That's what that is. And we're not being it because we're being deceived. We're being what they're telling us to buy to be. We're being what they're selling us, what they're giving us these tokens with, but these are fake tokens anyways. There's no value in that token. It's lost its value. But they're saying here, you go chase this token forever, treat it like God, so that you can buy things from us that are only temporary and have no long-term satisfaction like what God could provide for you. And that's why that seashell's tipped over like that, You get one on that seashell, Spirit? You get one on that Spirit. On that seashell, It's causing us to have this emotional turmoil here in this little bit. I mean, we all know. It's obvious. Why? How to change it? got 6 of wands. That's blackberry, right? But it's in the reverse. And so we got blackberry in the reverse. And so the seashell's tipped over on its head because we are in our ego, you know? We are riding pomp and circumstance, you know? It's like we have this, a lot of individuals out here today are caught up in how they look, you know? How the masses see them, you know? And so they want to be riding their fancy steed with their bright and shiny armor out through the crowd and have the whole crowd cheer for them, you know, as if it's a celebration. But it's not even a celebration yet because the 6 of wands is like preparing for battle or whatever. So you feel really confident and strong that you can go into that battle and that you're going to win that war and that you're going to be what the masses see you as being or what you're represented as. But in the reverse, there's no victory in that battle that's coming, you know. You're not going to win. You're going to lose that battle. That you're going to be stuck in that 9 of wands situation. It's going to become a 10 of swords. It's not going to become a 10 of wands. You know, you're going to roll into that 10 of wands and come back to your village victorious with all 10 wands on your shoulder, even if you lost your steed. No, you're going to be stuck in the mud, you know, in that truck that you can't afford, and nobody's going to be there to help you. That's what's going to happen. They're all going to want to ride. When you roll into town, you got your truck because it's like you went and got a loan and you're feeling like you're hot shot. All the girls like, oh yeah, you're cool. Can I get you to give me a ride to the store? And everybody acts like they want you. But the second you go into the ditch with that pickup truck or whatever, and it gets rough or you beat it up or whatever, that bank comes to take it. Nobody's going to be there by your side. It's a false celebration. And that's what they've got us all strung out on. And so they got you buying stuff that it's going to take you 20 years to pay off, but it's only going to be good, making you shine for about 2. You know, there's no longevity in it. There's no celebration in it. It's a false celebration. It's just temporary. It's smoke and mirrors, you know? And so that emotionally, I think a lot of people are realizing that. And so their emotional fulfillment is lacking, you know? And then they don't know how to get back to God because God don't give a fuck about your pickup truck. God don't give a fuck about your pickup truck. So we got the 5 of coins here on that fake coin that we'll call this false prophet, man. He got shot in the head, but he was still not what they say he was, you know, no matter what. Like, he was buried, man. He shouldn't have been messing around with Marilyn Monroe. And she got killed too, you know? And so they got us a sumac there, the 5 of coins right there, which means that this and the things that back this false idol right here, which with this money, with this false idol, is this American coin that has lost its value now. It's left out in the cold, man. And so we might be out here thumping our chest, trying to really hold up this Coca-Cola bottle, which is coming out here as burdock, right? But in the Queen of Wands in the upright position. And so, but that's like we talk about with the burdock, you know, the burdock, it could be like a weed, you know, in your garden. And it's like, I say burdock is a weed, but burdock, that's one of them. They got Chinese burdocks and stuff that are good, that are, you know, they're garden plants, and really, they're not weeds. But we got like dock and the yellow dock, and there's other docks, you know, that they're weeds, you know, and they cause you a lot of grief in your garden. And so they, the leaves on the top of those docks, you know, it's like they're not extremely useful for us as vegetables in our gardens and stuff. So they can occupy a lot of space and crowd out the other plants in our garden that matter the most, you know, that are the ones that bring us the fulfillment and the nutrition and the nourishment that we need in our lives, in our physical. If we were talking about the garden just as our physical space, what we eat, but also in our emotional, in our internal space, you know, like. So if we got too much burdock in our internal garden, too much Queen of Wands, which that's like sorcery, that's black magic, you know. That's somebody who is got a lot of ego, you know. That's somebody who's operating in their fire, and so they got a lot of passion, but passion can come off as ego too, you know. They could be the boss bitch, they could be large and in charge, they could be really, really grounded, really strong force, especially in the upright position here. But like the thing is that this Queen of Wands and the burdock is coming out here with the Coke bottle, you know? And so that's just saying, like, sure, we've looked like we were the boss bitch and that Queen of Wands energy and everything to the world because we've been slinging our shit all over the place. We've been throwing our wands out there all over, our potions, our spells, and our trinkets and our knickknacks and all our fucking stuff, right? We've been selling that to the world. The world's been consuming it, and so they've been wanting it. That's why we're in the upright position. But the fact is that we've taken root in their societies and in their cultures, and the big flashy greens on the top that look good, they're starting to realize they don't taste good, and now they got to deal with the roots that we've set in, because like the roots that we've planted into their societies, into their cultures, they're keep pushing them roots up, the leaves up now, and they can't get those leaves to get out of their garden to give them space to replant the things that culturally were intended for them initially, and that's pissing people off. It's pissing people off. People are starting to see through it, kind of. The American dream is actually a nightmare. That what's in that bottle is not just a sweet, refreshing cold beverage that you can enjoy on a summer day, but it's your death wish. It's death. It's a death. It's guaranteed death certificate. You're gonna cut your fucking toes off and shit because you got diabetes if you fucking sit and swill that shit all day long, and that's a guaranteed truth, And you don't want to admit that to yourself. And that's why you got yourself out here emotionally. You turned your emotions off. You said, cast that shit out in the void. I don't even want to think about it. It hurts, Yeah, it hurts, but it's just going to hurt worse as long as you don't think about it. You're always going to be feeling embattled. You're always going to be feeling like you can't win your wars, that nobody's there to fight with you. And that's what they want. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make you a slave to the things that matter least so that you forget how to serve the things that matter most, which is Most High. And that's what fear does to you, It's a horrible tool. It's a horrible weapon. Spirit, how do we help people get back into their emotional state where they're emotional about the things that matter most to you and the things that matter most to your kingdom, and they get their heads out of emotion with the things over here that are lies? See? You're not alone. You're not alone. Yeah? God's mallow. I just watched a little thing on YouTube actually about with the mallow. They took the mallow berry seeds, the seeds, like the little mallow berries, mix them with eggs. So it makes like a real thick, it's high in pectin, I guess. I didn't know that, And they mix it with egg, and they made actual marshmallows because that's where the marshmallow comes from. Because marshmallow is another form of mallow that is a little sweeter and everything, And so the marshmallow plant is like with mallow, and it fucking you can see here, it has these little flowers, these little buds, things right here. I don't know if you can see that, but there's like a little flower, a little bud on there. You take those little flowers, those little buds, and you crush them up. You make pectin with it. It makes a real thick little mucusy paste, and you mix that with your eggs, and you make marshmallows. And I want to do it. I really want to do that. But what God's saying here is that even though you feel alone, you're not alone. So maybe you're set aside. That's why you're set aside out here, this water energy. You're in your water energy. You love the world. You love everything around you, But what you love most is Most High. But the world has cast you out because of your connection with Most High, see? They want to be connected to the things that are materialistic. They want to be connected to looking good. They want to be connected to fake relationships. They want to be connected to shallow sex. They want to be connected to materialistic items, like what kind of shoes you're wearing, what kind of clothes you have on, and all that shit, how much money you got, right? Where you're traveling and all that stuff. That's what matters to them. They don't care about what's in your heart space, And what is funny is that they don't need to care about what's in your heart space, but they can enjoy being in your presence because you have such a powerful heart space, because it's filled with your divine connection with Most High. You have a union with God, man. And so you stand in the light of God, and that's what you wear as your armor. That's your fancy pickup truck. That's your high-end fancy clothes. That's your Prada or whatever this fucking motherfuckers wear out here, right? Your Dolce & Gabbana and stuff, all that shit. That's your stuff. That's your fancy sunglasses, because you cloak yourself in the clothes that God gives you, And so you go this world buck naked like that emperor, but you're not operating on ego. You're completely humble in your approach. You've been humbleized by God, man, and you have a humble relationship with God. And so you have a humble space in your garden and in your heart that doesn't have any room for that burdock. You don't want to consume that trash. You don't want to have that stuff. You know damn good and well it's not allowed inside your culture. It's not allowed inside your society that you built within your own kingdom, that you have within your empire, Your empress and your emperor say, nah, screw you. We're not planting burdock in our fields because we know damn good well that if we do, then we're not going to ever be able to get rid of it. And we don't want to fucking deal with that shit. It's cancerous, The Coca-Cola, the way of thinking, sleaziness, the seediness, the immorality, the lies, the deceit, all that stuff. That's the burdock that Queen of Wands wants to plant in the gardens of the good people around us. And we have got as this culture who so willingly sacrifices their false idols right in front of everybody. That was a horror. That's a blood fest. That's a horrible deal, man. That was a shit show, you know? How could that be acceptable? No different from 9/11, no different from the COVID campaign, none of this shit. This is war against us, man. This is them planting that burdock in our garden and trying to make it so hard for us to remove it that we don't even value ourselves anymore. And that's what they're doing, you know? And that's what they're doing, man. You know? But we're not in that. We're not in that. See? The chosen ones, God's Most Highs. Yeah, we're in our emotions a little bit. We're always in our water. We're in our cups. Of course, you know, because we're in our two cups with God Most High. So God says everything around you is going to be safe and secure, and it's going to be healthy, and it's going to be protective, because I want you to swim in your cups. I want you to be in your cups and have emotion and have love and have tenderness and have kindness and have grace for all the things that are around you, because that's how I operate out of. And you and I, we're on the same frequency. We're in the same vibration. And so you are the vibration of love and kindness, you know, because you're in union with Most High, man. That is beautiful. That is beautiful, you know. That's so beautiful. Very beautiful, you know. That's why you got the Two of Wands here. You got two twos, right? The Two of Wands on the bottom of the deck says that, yeah, man, even though you're standing here set aside your emotion with Most High in this Two of Cups energy, the world is in your palm. That's why you're distanced from all that mess and all that nastiness and all that shit that's going on down over there in the light of the sun, you know, with these addictions and stuff. You're not trying to be a star of the show. You don't want to be in the limelight like that. You could be set aside all alone in your space with just Most High, and you're totally confident. You're totally comfortable. You're totally secure. You're totally happy. You totally have everything you need. In fact, you know you're safer than you've ever fucking been. Value that. You know, nurture that, build that, keep that. That's your union. That's what matters most, man. That is the only thing that matters most. Why the warriors of truth out here, stuck out here too? You know, Spirit. Like, how do we speak our heart? You know, how do we use our swords? You know, to get the world to understand what's in these cups that you give us that overflow. You know, because that's why this button out here is showing itself the way it is, because we love you, you know, we have you, but we're in a Two of Cups union, you know, that means it's just us and you, and we want to share with the world the wisdom that you give us, and that requires that we have mastery over our swords, right, God? And so how do we do that, you know? How do we master our ability to speak the truth again, and in a way that is grassroots, you know, and that hits the hearts of the people who understand it. Hey, you know what God says? God says to, God says, coming out here, we got a chamomile, right? We got chamomile in the upright position with the ace of Wands. And so God's saying, hell yeah, I love what you're fucking saying. He's saying, hell yeah, you know? But with chamomile, it's not like a shot of whiskey, you know? Like, you can't deliver it like a shot of whiskey. Passion could be like a shot of whiskey, right? You can be real passionate with a shot of whiskey. But with chamomile, that's a little different, you know? It's like you ease them into it, man. And so like when my baby boy was teething, when his teeth were coming in and everything, you know, he, you know, when they teeth, they get fevers, right? They'll get real big fevers. And so I would take and I'd make really strong tea, a really strong bath for him. You know, I'd make a big pot of like really strong chamomile tea. And I'd put some catnip in there, you know. And then he'd be just screaming, you know, because that's horrible for them when they're teething, man. They're just drooling everywhere. It's horrible. They swell up. It's horrible. I was cutting, at the same time he was toothing, I was cutting a wisdom tooth. I kept my wisdom teeth, you know, so I had my wisdom teeth coming in. And I had just that one tooth coming in. It hurt like hell, you know. That boy, he had all his teeth coming in. I was like, man, you know. And so, but he put him in that chamomile, you know. He'd be screaming and just he'd get his fever be up there hot, 102. And I'd put him in that chamomile with that catnip. The catnip will reduce the fever, you know, and it works really good. And then just put him in a tea, you know, and then the chamomile relaxes him, you know. And you'd slide him into that chamomile, and it'd be about 2 minutes later, you know, that boy, he'd be screaming, just like, ah! And then he'd go, coo, coo. just like a pigeon, you know. Like, I mean, literally, it's a couple minutes, you know, that chamomile would kick in, and it would just like dope, you know. Like, he was just, he'd just melt, and he'd go to sleep, and he'd sleep really good, you know. And so, Spirit is asking us how to use, like, yeah, we're warriors, you know. And so we could be real passionate about how we go about fighting that war. And we could be fire about it. We could be hot-headed about it. Like, we could be that way. And see, here on the bottom of the deck, actually, we have the Seven of Wands, right? And Blueberry, Seven of Wands, though. And so that's fighting. That's like getting really aggressive, you know. That's like really standing up for something. And you're fighting. You're in battle, you know. And so, but God's saying, like, for us, you know, we're not in that Seven of Wands energy, because, like, we're kind of coming out more of a Nine of Wands energy, because this is kind of more of a Nine of Wands energy for me with this old beat up button, right? But that's our wounded warriors from the past that spoke truth. And so they fought them battles, you know. And so we don't need bloodshed. We need chamomile, you know, is what God's saying here. It's like, because, like, instead of, like with my baby boy, instead of like saying, oh no, those teeth are giving him grief, I should just pull those teeth out of his head, and that's going to solve that problem. It's like, well, no, that wouldn't solve the problem. That would be getting a little too aggressive about it and attacking the situation, and not trying to heal the situation, not trying to take a more soothing, healing approach, which is what the chamomile does, because that allows me to give him rest, you know. So it's like I'm very passionate about him feeling better. I want him to feel better, you know, and so I could take herbal approach, a more soothing, a more gentle, a more sensible approach to help ease his pain and suffering, and then get him through that phase where he can grow his teeth, and then he can eat his own solid food, you know. Then he's well on his way to becoming a grown human being, you know. We could get him through that phase of weaning, you know, because a lot of people are going to have to be weaned off of the shit that they're addicted to right now, because they're going to have to be, and they're going to cry no different than a baby that's teething, you know, because they're going to be going through teething pains too, because they're going to have to grow the fuck up to make those choices. They're going to have to know how to seek their teeth into life, and not be bottle fed by the machine, you know, not be bottle fed by the matrix, you know. They're going to have to learn how to fight their own battles, for sure. But we can't teach them that by attacking them. You understand what I'm trying to say? We got to teach them that by showing them our passion, and holding their hand as they step into that bath of chamomile, and then they experience that Two of Cups that we already have with God Most High, and that's going to ease everything that they fucking, you know, that they need eased. And that's the good shit. That's what we're trying to do here, you know, man. I mean, that, you know, you sit down, you have yourself 2 nice cups of chamomile tea with good God Most High, and that spring water right there, and then you nurture your soul. You water your soul with that chamomile tea. And then you're always in peace, you know. And this shit like this horrible stuff, this bloodbath, they blew his brains out all over his wife, man. And they've been lying to us about it for years and years and years, my entire life and longer, because that happened well before I was born. I was born in 78, you know, so that shit happened 20 years ago before I was born. Damn near, you know. And so, like, or whatever, fucking, you know. And so, I think I was 64, you know, and so it's 14 years before I was even born, man. And they've been lying to us about it the entire time. And then they even had the balls to go in there and do 9/11, and now they got the balls to come out here with that redheaded freak that they prance around out here trying to say he's like the Antichrist, or that he's Jesus, or whatever the fuck they try to say, and he's just a jackass. And he tried to tell us, oh yeah, we shot that guy. We did it, and I'm going to be honest with you now, I'm telling you the truth, oh, and we did 9/11, oh, and we chemtrail you, and all this stupid stuff. Well, how about you shut your fucking mouth up and choke on a hamburger, motherfucker? Why don't you go on down there to McDonald's and fucking choke on a fucking hash browns, man? You know? Post yourself up that fucking fryer and fucking stick your head in the motherfucker. That's what I think, because you're full of fucking shit. We doing this the whole time that you're fucking lying to us, and now you're going to step up and try to be the fucking hero? Fuck you. But see, that is me coming into that Seven of Wands energy. And Most High is telling me, hey, shesh, no way. We're going to get you and teach you how to make them passions into a cup of chamomile tea, and we're going to fucking solve these problems around here. It's no different than your baby boy when he was teething, you know? And that's what they're saying right there with that warrior coin and everything, you know? The truth is out there. We just got to know how to speak it. We can't come in guns blazing. This ain't a 1776 moment, you know? Because we're vastly outgunned, you know? Like, we were able to defeat the king like that because, yeah, man, there's an ocean in between us, you know? and we had vast amounts of resources all around us. And so even though we seemed like they try to put it out there like we were like this ragtag group of troops or whatever, we all came together. Yeah, maybe, you know, but you got to understand, like the English soldiers, they weren't fighting for their home. They weren't fighting for their land. They weren't fighting to protect their wives. They weren't none of that shit. All their everything they had was back in England, you know, back home in England, and so they were there on tour, you know, and so they weren't nearly as invested in it, and so of course they didn't have the fight in them that the Americans had in them, you know, like it was a different deal, right? And so like and already the Americans were hardy people. They're tough people, you know. The military, like they're out there going at it, you know, in the wild, kind of, you know. Whereas like with the British troops or whatever, they're on the British rations and everything. They just want to go home, see their wife. I mean, they want to get home safe and see their kids, you know. And so they're trying to navigate that a little differently. They weren't out there like ride or die. I mean, the Americans are like ride or die, you know, like fucking we want this shit, but they would do what was at stake, you know, of course, vast amounts of wealth, right? So it wasn't like that for a British troop who just wanted to go home, you know. And so nowadays we're in a position though where we ain't in that position anymore as the American people. We got to get this out of our heads about this. Oh, we're going to stand up and fight 1776 and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I like the term 1776 because it represents freedom. But we got to think about what that means today. We got to take a more intellectual approach to how we're going to go about this thing. A more emotional approach. There's a lot of emotions at play anymore. And people are oddly emotional too because all this Coca-Cola bullshit. I mean, you go watch somebody get their brains blown out right in front of everybody, you know, and then get you fucking spoon feed them poison their entire life with this Queen of Wands energy, you know, with that burdock. And so you go fill their garden with burdock. They can't see past the burdock fucking leaves that you planted in their garden. And you got them fucking fed on fucking toxic shit. And so nobody knows what the truth is anymore. So they don't trust themselves at all. They feel left out in the fucking cold, you know. And so few of us have been able to maintain that Two of Cups relationship with the God Most High. That things have got to be handled carefully now, man. We got to go chamomile on this motherfucker. We can't go Seven of Wands. Because if we go Seven of Wands, it's going to end up thermonuclear, man. And that's not at all what we need, you know. We need to tame that fire just a little bit and sit down with some chamomile tea. Maybe shesh, not no way, go over and talk to Putin, huh? We'll take a vote on that, you know. I got about 3 or 4 people that watch my videos. How many votes can I get? I don't know. They keep sending these guys like Tucker Carlson over there and shit. Tucker Carlson had his ass handed to him, man. That was embarrassing. He seems like a nice enough guy and everything. He's a Taurus, man. Them Taurasses, you know, they fucking, I love them, but I'd send somebody else over there. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. I would send Gerald Slente over there. Yeah. That's who I would send over there. Yep. Yep. Or like Diva from Diva TV. I don't know, y'all. She's no tarot reader out here. I love the hell out of Diva. Somebody like that. Mystic Tory, one of these other readers that we got. Somebody out here that's got some good heart, some good insight, some good soul in them, you know? Not just a money-grubbing pig like we got right now. And how the hell can we expect anything good to come out of a guy like Trump negotiating for us with this situation when there's thermonuclear warfare at stakes? I mean, that's crazy, man. We got to think about this shit, you guys. We really got to think about this shit, you guys. Because, you know, we need some more of this Empress energy out here in the world right now, man. There's just too much of this Aries Ram energy. It's like it's fire and air right now, you know. And there's just too much of that shit going on. Like we need to fucking ground this stuff out a little bit. We need some more. We need some more divine feminine energy dominating the scene here, you know. And it's like, I don't see it anywhere, you know. I mean, maybe Putin, but I don't know, you know. It's hard to say it to him because he was a psyop, right? I mean, he's a CIA, or the Russian equivalent of intelligence, right? It's the top, 20 years, So he's hard ass, Putin's killed people with his bare hands, probably, And that's like not necessarily Empress energy. Even if he is a Libra, it's not necessarily, not necessarily. Maybe it's a little Emperor energy, but we need temperance. See, it's what we do need right here, man. Right now, this whole world is what we need. All of us in our heart space. God's asking you to sit your passions down and have a chamomile tea. Because they know that you are feeling wounded. They're like, hey, take a break, take it easy, chill. Realize that your stability is with me. I'm your anchor. Seriously, right? Let God Most High be your emperor. And then you be the Empress, right? That was just showing their face. Now, we'll see if they come back out. Why is this 6 1 so screwed? Why is the celebration not going to last? Why is this show flipped over? Is it going to end horribly for all of us? Is that a big tsunami that's going to come in here and wipe us all the fuck out because these guys are dropping bombs everywhere? Or what the fuck, man? Why the water is in an uproar, Spirit? Page Cups. This one tried to come out, so I'm going to look at it. We're not going to take it. It's 4 of Swords. With the Page of Cups, in the reverse. Page of Cups in the reverse. So, emotionally, we're all very immature right now. That's what that's saying. It's like I'm talking about. It's buying into the toys, not seeing the reality, and allowing yourself to be controlled emotionally. And stepping away from your divine union with the Most High because they're selling you a bag of tricks, And so you decided as a child in an emotional state of a child in the reverse. That's not even like a child that's really doing well. That's a child that's kind of manipulative and kind of fucked off, And so it's really insecure, really immature, really young way of looking at desires, looking at the things that we put our emotions behind, And so it's like we're getting very emotional about our Matchbox cars, or we're getting very emotional about our video games. We're getting very emotional about the shit that don't fucking matter. And we need to grow the fuck up, man, or else we're going to lose our divine union with Most High. We're not going to celebrate because all our emotions are going to be tipped on their head. And our celebration's going to be short-lived. It's going to be fake, and then we're always going to be stuck in these childish emotions, Page in the Cups in the reverse also is an individual that needs to heal child wounds, You got a lot of emotional baggage that you're carrying. And so your life might not make sense emotionally right now. And you don't feel like you're celebrating because you need to heal whatever happened to you as a child that's caused you that internal struggle, And a lot of us are. I mean, there was children sitting there when they blew this guy's head off that watched that shit, There's children sitting in front of the TV when those Twin Towers fell at 9/11, right? And they've been trying to sort through that shit. That's traumatizing. It's just that we're so used to the trauma nowadays, we don't even realize how traumatizing that shit is, And so, that's buying into the magic. That's buying into the magic and the spells and the bullshit, the potions and everything that's being sold to you by this Queen of Wands, man. And we need to realize, they're telling you to plant weeds in your garden. They're not giving you seeds that are going to bring you health and nourishment and power and strength and all that stuff. They're afraid of you to have those things, so they're selling you trash. That's why you need to be in that hermit energy a little bit more. Go deep within, that light that hermit holds right there. That helps them fucking see through their own shadow, right? And so you're trying to figure out what it is that's causing you grief because emotionally you're in turmoil. And so the whole world around you is going crazy, but you don't want to drown in them waters. You're realizing that you got some internal stuff that you got to heal, stuff that happened to you when you were a child that light will illuminate. That's going to help you grow the fuck up, become the powerful individual, the strong swimmer that you need to be so that you can swim to the next shore that's going to bring you safety and you can have that celebration that is only short-lived for you right now, Why is this 5 coin here? Sure. Why is this 5 coin here with this guy that blew his head off of him? Ace of Wands, 9 of Pentacles in reverse, right? So, the Ace of Wands in the reverse, 9 of Pentacles in the reverse is, see, they're trying to tell you, that's that, their lies, It's like when they blasted this guy in the head, they're telling you that Because the Nine of Pentacles in the upright position is the slowest moving energy in the deck, right? And so in the reverse, and it's like a reliable. It's a steady. This one right here is telling you don't trust the things that bring you passion. Because a lot of people were very passionate about Kennedy as president. You know, a lot of people believe that he was the one who could have changed the world, that he was really going to be a peace candidate. They sold him off in a lot of ways, as they do this with Trump right now. You know, and when they came in there and they blasted him in the head, they said, no, anything that you think is going to be stable or reliable or that's going to make sense, it's like steadfast, you know, even if it's slow and plodding, like we got to this point here through hard work and everything. Well, all your hard work ain't worth shit. And don't get caught up and passionate about change. You think there's going to be change in this world through a fucking talking head right here? No, we're going to shoot them in the fucking head. We're going to leave you out in the cold. And that's what they're doing to all of our passions right now. Anything that you do feel passionate or fired up about that can give you freedom, that you know is going to bring peace and goodness into this world, that's going to be the divine line of God, or the divine light of God. They're trying to tell you, no, you can't have that. No matter how hard you work for it, no matter what course you take that is maybe the most correct and accurate course to take, no matter how reliable you are on yourself, we're going to turn that shit upside down. We're going to still make you look like a fucking fool, just like they did this guy right here. You know, shoot your brains all over your wife, man. We're gonna blow your head off, and they're gonna lie about it, and we're gonna manipulate the people, and we're gonna fuck everybody up with this Queen of Wands energy as Burdock. We're gonna plant weeds in the gardens, and we're gonna fucking make you all toxic as fuck, and we're gonna cut your fucking toes off because you're gonna have diabetes, you know? And that's what they're up to, man. Because that is what they're up to, and that's that motherfucker right there that I take joy out of whooping that guy's ass. All the time. All the time. All the time. I mean, all the time, you know. It's easy, folks. Trust me. You just gotta do it, you know. It's fucking pussy. That's a false representing piece of shit, man. And again, it's even with this guy here, right? They had the technology at the time that they can make it look real, like he got his head blown off right next to his wife, and that was nothing but Kool-Aid, you know, and that's the truth, you know. That guy, who knows, he could have passed away peacefully at 110 somewhere on some fucking island where they're letting him do whatever sick shit he wants to do the rest of his life, shooting dope and being a pedophile most likely, because that's what all these sick fucks are into, you know. Why is Queen of Wands here? It's that Copilot with her potions and her magic and all her bullshit. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so that Four of Swords, it came out again. It still came out. See, I just checked it over here. That Four of Swords with that Queen of Wands with the Burdock energy. You know, that's in this situation right here. That's throwing swords, throwing wands, throwing stones, and hiding your hands. That's what that is. They're trying to act innocent. See, they're sitting there, oh, they're praying and they're all this fucking shit. You know, they're what that's trying to say is that they're hiding that sword of truth from you, you know, and they got you strung out on those fucking three swords that are hanging above them. That's the addictions that they want you focused on, while they sit there and they act innocent, like they're just resting in their little bed, but they ain't innocent at all. It just, you know, just like I heard a thing yesterday talking about the richest families, you know, in America, and a lot of them motherfuckers, man, they're worth like all of us times 10, you know, but they hide. Always, they're hiding. They're like that one sitting there on that fucking bed, but they're selling you those three swords that are up above you. And those are the three thoughts that you got going on in your head that are keeping you weak and everything. And then that sword that's below them, see that sword, it's kind of like gold colored. These other swords up here are not. They're like tin colored. And so that's their sword right there. That's their family legacy. That's all their shit that they're sleeping on. They're hiding behind closed gates and their little bunkers and everything while they're selling you lies. And they're going to fuck you up with those lies, man. But they got that big gold sword there, right there backing them. But they're all in secret, you know. They keep it fucking, they hide their secret shit, and they throw swords and hide their hands, man. And that's what they're doing, you know. But they sell them fucking swords to you, and that's what the fucked up deal is. And that's why our Ace of Wands and our energies are coming out as this Knight in the reverse, you know. This Knight of Pentacles in the reverse with our Ace of Wands in the reverse. Because this Knight of Pentacles in the upright position would be more like this guy. That's steadfast, it's slow and calculative, right? It gets the job done one step at a time. And that's how they've been. Very strategic. And so they're sitting there in their upright position in that Knight of Wands, or even as a King of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, or even as a King of Pentacles. But they're slinging swords at us that are making us all in the reverse of that, you know, and they're taking away our passions and they're selling us Coca-Cola instead, man. And they're selling us cancer and they're selling us diabetes and all that fun shit that comes along with it. Them the parasites that they use to control our fucking minds, man. And they try to get in the way. They try to sever our connection with God Most High here. And that's why we've had to go so fucking far away from it all, you know, like the ones of us that want to stay tight with God, we are separated ourselves right now. We keep a good distance between us and everything around us because we know damn good and well what the fuck is going on. Do we know what the hell's going on, Spirit? Well, so what do we need to know here on this Mallow, Spirit? I mean, of course, it's our divine union. It's our divine union with Most High, man. It's like the thing that matters, the only thing that matters ever, you know? No wands can get between that, you know? Yeah. That's also the lovers, you know? So, I mean, fucking shit, you know? That's your divine and your feminine, your divine masculine, and your eternal space, you know? And I don't know why the other ones, they cover her up, everything. It's ridiculous, but you know, that's what that is, you know. That needs no further clarification. I mean, it's just what it is. It says it all, you know. I don't know why this guy here don't got a penis on him. Well, I guess he does. It's just he must come from a different tribe than I do. No. But God says, yeah. God says you're an oracle, not a comedian. I love being in union with Most High. No, I really do. It's where it's at, man. Trust me. So, Spirit. Do the chamomile, huh, Spirit? Chamomile is also called ground apple. I like that. Mayweed. It's mayweed too. It's funny. The very interesting actually. Yeah, man, the truth will set you free. See, out here is our energies. It's our energies with this two cups, the mallow and the lovers, and that water energy. So it's like we're very in our emotion right now. But we're in our emotion in a way that's extremely stable because we're in our emotion with God Most High, you know? And so it's like we're finding a lot of fulfillment and satisfaction away from the current affairs, away from the drama that's causing so much upheaval, you know? So it's like the waters on the material plane right now are rough, you know? It's not easy to navigate. But we're like over here kind of like in Anchorage, you know? It's like we're out here on it's like, you know, when the weather comes up sometimes like it'll get real rough on the shore, you know. So it's like if we're running gear out crabbing, we're running gear, right? You'll set gear on the beach. Sometimes crab they'll snap on the beach, you know. And so you run your gear, you put your gear on the beach. But sometimes when a storm will come in, it'll build a swell, you know. But the swell in the water it'll build on the beach, you know. So you get a really big swell on the beach, and so a lot of times, you know, you could go out to deeper water. If it gets too rough on the beach like that to fish, you could go out on a deeper water, and that deeper water will flatten out, you know, it'll lay down, or the swells will get a lot further in between, you know, they get shorter when it gets close to the shore, right? And so, like, we're in that deeper water, you know, and so we're coming out here with this wounded energy, the wounded warrior energy with this button, but that's like a vet, you know. That's the energy I'm getting from this one here. Like that wounded energy is a veteran now. It's like we have mastery over our passions because we're coming out as that Ace of Wands, but with the chamomile and the upright. And so that chamomile, it's like this card is similar to the King of Wands card that I have that comes out as cattail, because that cattail energy with the water of the cattail really calms the passions of the that King of Wands, you know? And so that King of Wands is able to make passionate decisions that are emotionally sound, that makes sense, like they have good mastery and control of their emotions, that fire doesn't burn too hot, and the same goes with this ace, because this ace is chamomile, and so this is the ace of fire. Of course, this is your fiery passion. It's the passion that God gives you, this is your passionate new beginning. This is you. This is your fire. But your fire is in a way now that it can ease things. It make things function and work well, because the King of Pentacles in the upright position is a very different energy from this Knight of Pentacles over here in the reverse. The Knight of Pentacles in the reverse is not going anywhere. And like the King of Pentacles, though, they've got it all, and they got it all, and they've got it secured. It's not going to be taken away from them. It's not going to be fucked off. Like, they know how to protect their pinnacle. You can see the way he's holding that pinnacle with confidence, And so God's giving you stability in your life and your passions, because they know now that you're not just hot-headed, that you got a level head on you, and you can handle that King of Pentacles energy. And so they're going to give you that kingdom now, So it's like you got wealth coming in, you got abundance coming in, you have stability coming in, you have everything that you've earned is coming in, because you fought your battles, You fought your battles, but you've also learned how to lay down your sword, right? And that's what this ace of passions, Ace of wands, and the upright chamomile. That's what that is. You fought your battles, but you know how to lay down your sword. You know how you don't got to knock all your teeth out of your kid's head because they're giving him grief. You just make some tea, man, and then that will nurture him, and that will make him feel all better, And that's something that the King of Pentacles will understand. It definitely understands when they have their Queen of Pentacles, because the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles, they teach that, But this Knight of Pentacles over here with this Ace of Wands energy in the reverse, both of those are in the reverse, because they're in their Five of Cups, because emotionally they're left out in the cold right now, because they got caught up in that storm with this seashell over here, and they behaved like that Page of Cups in the reverse, and so they bought into something that's not going to pay, and their passions are not really coming in for them like that, They got shot in the head when they was just starting to have their come up, They let that burdock take over their fucking garden, man. They listened to that Queen of Wands, and they got screwed by that bottle of Coke. Now that diabetes has them in the hospital, and they're getting their legs cut off, they're getting their arms cut off, they're getting everything cut off with them three swords right there. Because the bastards that sold them the Coke knew all along that they're going to get rich cutting their shit off when they got diabetes and selling them that fucking shot that's going to make them even sicker, right? Turn their pee purple. That's stupid. But we're chosen, and we're safe with God. And we got it going on, man. We got it going on. We're cool-headed and hot shit. Right? And we got abundance and everything coming on, and we now know how to protect it. We know how to fight for it. We know how to protect it. And God Most High has your ass covered. Yeah. They got our asses covered. We're the chosen ones. And it's time for us to unite. It's time for us to find our paths towards each other, and that's what we're doing right now, And however that's going to work out, And that could be in the for real. That could be in the physical. That could be in this timeline, or it could be in the next timeline. Who the fuck knows? Could be in the past timeline. Truth, understanding, clarity, grace, and humor. And that in itself is a sentence, right? Yeah, man. Grace is this energy right here with the button and with the button and the ace of passions. That's us having grace. When we manage that energy in ourselves, when we find that energy in ourselves, that Ace of Passions with the chamomile tea and our King of Pentacles energy, as veterans, as experienced warriors, then we have the grace to move into our kingdom, into our abundance, into our wealth, into our promises that God has made to us, And like the truth or the humor is right there, Find your joy with God Most High, you know. Let them humor you. Let them give you your emotions fulfillment, Let them be your Two of Cups. Let them be your joy. And then when you place them on that highest pedestal, well, they could bring other individuals into your life that you could really value, because you have expectations. You don't have expectations. All your expectations have been met. You're in such good humor in your spirit because of your divine union with Most High that all you offer is goodness and kindness to everybody around you, and to understanding, and you start to understand yourself in a higher light, and you can step away from these energies here that are controlling you, you start to understand what's toxic around you and what's not, and what's causing you a lack of clarity, because this individual right here doesn't see clearly right now. They're stuck in a Five of Cups energy, and anybody who is buying into the psyop that they're trying to lie to you about, because we need more clarity. They're trying to say right now with clarity that guy was really shot in the head by your government, by your ruling officials who are ruling us today. And we need to accept that clarity and really know it to be the truth, or else we're always going to be stuck in this turmoil right here. Our seashell's always going to be tipped upside down, and we're going to be damaged children, because a lot of us are our whole nation right now, every single one of us is traumatized because of the shit that's being done to us by our government officials, by our leaders, And so we need to step into our true light, into our relationship with God Most High. And that's where the good humor comes from. That's where the fun times are, man. And that's where we have our grace, And so, thank you, Spirit, for bringing this message in, and ask that you protect us now and then, and like you did before. And keep doing that, and like I really ask that you protect anybody that steps into this space, this space, that's this safe space, and that your messages are delivered with grace, and truth. There it is, y'all. So anyhow, like I tell you every time, hey, that beast is gonna fall. We're gonna win this one. They're not gonna keep shooting us in the head like that. They're not gonna take away our passions, man. We are the light, and that light is going to outshine, and it's going to illuminate the darkness, and nobody's going to be able to hide from that, and we're going to stop the thermonuclear warfare, man. That shit's not even going to think about that, that beast ain't got that kind of power. And so, hey, I love y'all. Keep it safe, man. I'm going to keep posting now. That garden's about ready to take off. I'm really excited here in a month or two, y'all are going to see that shit's going to be dank. It's going to be dope. But anyhow, thanks for joining me. I love you.